Hey everyone, it's Timid Falconite, and I'm bringing to you the first episode of my uh, Quack Cup run. Quack Cup is the second tournament cup of the new semi-official on-site series. You can go to tournaments. As you can see here, it's the second one here. Well, it's the first number of the Quack Cup. I'm gonna click on this real quick, but apparently they're going sort of in reverse because I was under the impression that they would do a Mariner, then Smacky, then Glenstorm, but they went straight into Quack Cup, which is funny because honestly this is the series that I'm most excited for because it's just random bullshit gimmicks. This one specifically is high funds with gimmicks as well, which is going to be funny. And yeah, go check out my first A Mariner Cup video if you want to learn a bit more about the tournament stuff. I guess, well, I'll say what I said the first time is, just look up here like towards the end of the month. So go to competitions, tournaments, waiting tournaments. It'll pop up here if there's another one coming up. There should be another one at the end of this month. And I guess subscribe to the channel because I will mention this. I will mention these in my videos if there is another tournament sign up open. So yeah. Anyways, the rules for this are pretty simple. 75 unit limit. I honestly, I don't think you're ever gonna get to that many units, but it's a 5-day plus 1 day per turn timer, which I believe is the same as with a Mariner Cup, if I remember correctly. Well, actually, I'm gonna double check that. Let's see. I believe a Mariner Cup. Come on, load. Yeah, it's 5 days plus 1 day per turn. It's basically half of the time limit of a normal Global League game, which makes sense because this is more of a tournament setting, so duh. But anyways, yeah, the main difference between this is going to be that it's high funds, so 2,000 funds per turn. That's the main difference in just general rules here. That's the main difference. The other main crazy difference is just the types of maps that are going to be in play. For example, this first map is called Escaping Arkham, and it's I actually didn't know what the gimmick of this map was when I signed up for it. I went to map analysis and I'm like, grid will probably be pretty good because actually, the main reason I picked grid on this map was so that it would be easier to blow down this pipe seam because grid is like one of the few COs that can two-shot pipe seams with artillery. So I picked grid specifically for that reason and because it's a pretty small map, so you can zone out relatively easily with like grid's powers and such. What I didn't recognize was these corner bases. Like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I guess you could build, like, a grid rockets there, and it could blow up the pipe seam from here. That seems like a really stupid idea, though. Like, I don't see why you would put a rocket in the corner here, just for that. What I forgot about is there's this unit called the Piperunner. And that's why you have these pipes on the sides of the map here, so that you can run pipe runners down them. And that's part of the reason why Grit is just ridiculously... Well, he's only got 42% win rate on this map, actually, funnily enough. Down by at 80%. Bond bullet at 68, actually. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I would have expected Grit to be doing better. Interesting. And actually, just looking at the bracket, there's a lot more variety in CL picking than I originally thought there would be. There's a lot of maxes. I considered max as well. But I figured Max just has such a crappy time against Grit. Like he does get the extra movement, which is nice because it means he can rush in past Grit's indirect range and just push nice and hard with all his tanks at once and then just overwhelm Grit's artillery with like his tanks and neo tanks and mainly air units, honestly. But I picked Grit, and my opponent picked Grit too because Grit's just busted on this map. As you will see later, I guess. I mean, it's a Grit mirror match, but like, to be fair, like this area in the center here is very open, and it's only a 2 base map as well, meaning that Grit's gonna have a little bit of a more difficult time building up an artillery block like he normally would want to and be able to do on a regular 3 base map, because these corner bases they're literally only for building Piperunners, and that's literally it. But you have the airports here, which are important as well. But yeah, this is a very unconventional map. It's a very unconventional high funds map as well. Like, as you'll see, well, I guess I'll just go into the replay because that'll help me get my thoughts out a little bit, I think. So, starting out with this replay is high funds. So normally what you want to do in high funds is get out as many infantry as possible. What I did was, player 2 has enough money to build an artillery turn 1, which was another reason why I picked Grit actually. It was so that I could get this artillery out, pivoted to like here, and then I could easily get to the airport really early on. That was my main idea. So Grit artillery, I think I said earlier that they 2-shot pipe seams. That's not actually accurate. They almost 2-shot pipe seams. So if you have 2 infantry hits into there, or like a mech hit, that'll open up a pipe seam. Which is sort of what I did. What I opened it up with the mech. What you kind of are able to do on this map is get an infantry attack with the infantry, and then move into this, and then attack with a second infantry, and then it'll be open basically, more or less. My opponent went for the artillery as well. I think that what he was doing was waiting a bit to open up his pipe team though. He didn't want to rush it out as early as I did. So as you can see here, it's down to 51, so it's 49, meaning 2 infantry attacks will knock it down to, well, it'll break the pipe team and let you get this transport copter out, importantly. I didn't do that properly, so I improvised a mech in order to bust that open. And like, it's high fun, so you're actually able to get mechs out a little bit more easily than you might be able to normally. Mechs are kind of crap against Grit though. Like, he's able to zone them out pretty easily. But the fun thing about this mech is like it's in range to start capping this airport really early as well. So the other thing that I did here that was sort of important was I moved this artillery all the way in range. Oh, why is the range cap there? I moved it as far as I could while still, and that actually does make it in range of Grit artillery to attack there. And that's important because it'll allow me to move in here and start threatening my opponent's infantry down here very early on. As you can see here, my opponent went for the whatchamacallit, the frickin' Piperunner. I don't know what it's called because you never see these come out ever. Because honestly, even on a map like this, we're not like the best. Like for great, they have like a billion move. So we're very good at like moving around, but I don't know. And at this point, funnily enough, I didn't even notice that he had built that. So I was just going basically just grit moves like, okay, I'm gonna be able to, if I get a rockets out here, I can just control this entire area in the center very easily. And that's what I was going for here. Even when he moved this guy here, I don't think I even saw it. Like, I just completely ignored it for like so long. Okay, so I got this guy in range of the infantry here, basically just guarding these two cities so that he can't really just move in for free on them. Moving in with my rockets here as well, so you can see here, basically have control of the center now, just by building this one unit. And that's what Grit likes to do on high fronts, is get as many of these guys out as possible, and then he can zone out a really good area. The other thing that's important on a map like this, where there's lots of like plains, is that artillery are able to come out really fast as well. Like we're going to be able to move across this a lot faster. This is a bigger zone, so you can zone very effectively with like one rockets and then like a bunch of artillery spam. And it's really cost effective as well, because you can use the artillery against basically anything that's on the land. Pretty good against neo-tanks really as well. Like they basically do half a neo-tank, especially once you have a tower out. You just need to fire twice into the neo-tank with the artillery, and it's basically taken care of. So, and as you can see here, I'm already getting out a very nice little artillery block. I'm spamming the artillery as much as I can really. And that's just, I'm just basically doing grit things, just burr, artillery go burr basically. My opponent goes for the missiles here, which was pretty smart. He's recognizing that I wanted to get this airport out early, so I'm going to be threatening his units pretty effectively with that early on, so there's that. And he moves in there, and then I think this turn was when I noticed the Piperunner. I'm like, wait a second, what is that? Oh, right, that's the gimmick of this map. Oh, now I understand. So, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, got it. But I know it's this second one that he built here, and I'm like, crap, he's gonna send this north. I better take out this pipe team right here so that he can't like use it to wrap around here and take me out with it. So that's what I'm doing with these two artilleries. I'm rushing them over here as fast as I can to take out this pipe team so that he can't move in with this guy. Importantly, I'm going to have the comm tower, and having the comm tower out does actually make it so that you two-shot this pipe team with the artillery, which is very important. I go for my own Piperunner because I know they exist now. I can't believe I forgot about Piperunners entirely. But funnily enough, I think that me forgetting about the Piperunners did actually make it so that I was able to have a more effective early game, because I wasn't as focused as much on the Piperunners. And the thing about Piperunners is they're basically rockets that move super fast, which is great and all, but they don't get defensive terrain, which means that they're very prone to being bopped if there's anything in range, basically. So I went for the shot on this artillery. I figured that this guy would go down, but whatever. At the end of the day, the reason why I went for the shot there instead of retreating my artillery was specifically to draw the fire of this Piperunner, so that he wouldn't be able to move in with his Piperunner any further than he already had. and that's going to allow me to get this cap with my infantry, very importantly. So he moves in with the artillery here, and I move in on this side with the my artillery as well. This guy is just in range of his pipe team, importantly, and yeah, it's gonna be nice. I'm gonna basically get there just in time in order to be able to blow that open. I got 3 artillery in this area as well, and then I got a fighter out, which I built in response to his bomber. Honestly, Grit bombers, they're kind of mid. Like, okay, look at they don't even one-shot Neo tanks on relics with 1 contour. Like, just awful. What an awful unit. And you don't, since this is high funds, you generally don't really want to invest in bombers super early. You kind of want to open with lighter units like battlecopters, especially on a map like this where you want to sink some of your income into pipelines as well, and then just overwhelm your opponent with them that way. That's took the hit there, and what's fun about this is like he can't move in any further with his Piperunner because I got this artillery here locking this area down. Like if he moved in with the artillery here, I'd be able to just go ahead and bop it with the artillery, and that basically that's basically a dead Piperunner. That's 20k down the drain if he just rushes in blindly with it. So you have to be very, very, very careful with Piperunners. He moved in this guy here, but importantly, he doesn't have anything in range to deal with my infantry, so I'm going to be able to take this cap. He moved in like just out of range of my artillery, so he's going to try zoning me out with it, his Piperunner a little bit here. And you will be able to see how well that works out. He's zoning this area out, interestingly enough. So I feel like no, he wouldn't have been able to zone in any zone me out of this area in time to get past this pipe team. So yeah, I think the first thing I did was just blow this thing open. Well, one of the first things I did. I blew this open. I moved this guy in range of this guy so that if he doesn't, so that I can just like threaten it at least a little bit. It wasn't like the best move because this guy's still stuck here out of range of there. So if he just takes out this artillery, I don't really have any way to contest this. Well, that's not entirely true. I could use this guy with like a power. Because Grit's power is only like 3 bars, so it does charge up really fast. So there's that. I go for a second Piperunner here, and yeah, so he takes out my infantry there with the artillery plus the Piperunner. I don't know why. 97, 105, 102, 110. Like, he should have just opened up with a Piperunner shot there. Importantly, it lets him move in with his bomber like that. But, like, he's not going to be able to do too much else with the bomber. Is the thing here. Oh, you know why he went for the shot with the artillery? It was because there was a chance to take it with just the artillery, and if he had been able to take it with the artillery, he would have been able to take out my artillery with the Piperunner. That's what he was after there. So I got a little bit lucky there. Just a little bit, because like, it's like, I'd say it's on average, this probably kills more often than not, but like it's not, it's 3 out of 6. Yeah, so 1 for chance to not to not one-shot there, which is unfortunate for my opponent. He charged up his infantry here, but we're like not going to be doing enough damage here to like get rid of that guy. So very important. So I take a shot with the artillery there. Honestly, in hindsight, like that was good enough to like get a shot off there, but like in hindsight, I could have just taken a shot. Well, I kind of wanted a power charge. Honestly, I should have planned this out a little bit better, but because then I would have been able to take this guy out just by that. I'm able to get some very good shots off here, like with just just Grit's little power. This single rockets has like half the map covered. It's kind of insane. How good we excuse me, the control from the center here is with his rockets. Honestly, if I had built a couple more in the center here, I think I would have had a little bit of an easier time with him than I ended up having. I move in with the battlecopter there, mainly to do damage to this guy, but also sort of to bait out the superpower from my opponent here. Because he is going to be able to use it to pop, he could just pop his superpower and then take it out with missiles here. So like, and he needs, it's in like the exact distance away where he needs to pop his superpower for it as well. So this is sort of a little bit of a bait. Either he pops it and then he's not able to double tap with his powers, and he gets like a unit, or he doesn't pop it and I'm allowed to have free reign with this battlecopter. So it's a win-win for me because I don't really want to deal with his powers that much. I think I recognized, no, I think this entire time I was assuming that he'd be able to pop his superpower. And then I go like with this little defensive formation here, because he doesn't have this comm tower. He isn't even able to do like, he's able to only do like half with this bomber, which is insane. Maybe 60%, but like it's a bomber, it should be able to do a lot more, and that goes to show just how weak Grit's direct units actually are. I fell back with this guy, so that he doesn't get a free shot off against it with the bomber immediately, or even like with an infantry, or this guy. I move him back behind this line here, and then like my units here are cutting off this bomber very effectively, and you can't really do anything about it. So as you can see here, I think this turn by itself gave me the win because I was able to take out his Piperunner here, basically take out this Piperunner here as well, and neutralize a lot of his artillery in this area as well. He's finally going for the rockets in this area, but like he's not going to be able to move them in here because I've got this guy here. So pops his superpower. He'd be able to take this guy out from base here if he wanted to, but like he can deal with these other units, so he doesn't really. He wants to get this out of the way so that he can build more stuff from this base. He takes this out with the battlecopter plus the weakened artillery, which I was assuming he'd be able to do. And then he goes pretty wild against this artillery, but he's not able to take it down with just the infantry plus bomber, so that's fine. He does take out this infantry, I believe. No, actually, he doesn't. He's not able to do that because he's at standard firepower with the infantry, so he can't just waltz in and two-shot them off of the property here. Gets a little bit of a chip shot off here against this guy and start getting here as well. Which Like, honestly, that wasn't the best move for him, because now he's going to be out of power meter. And that's kind of it. Like, I can just take out his infantry for free now. So, take it out with this guy, take that guy down to half, and then I believe I finish off with... Well, I'm not sure if I finish off this turn. I move in here against his infantry and like take some more shots with the artillery, importantly. Move in range with this Piperunner. I believe I get a second one this turn. And then move this guy back basically for repairs so that I don't waste the unit count on it. Oh yeah, I did anti-air as well, because he's starting to battlecopter spam a little bit, so I figured anti-air here is a really good thing just to deal with the air units and the infantry as well. Funnily enough, like this guy, he's barely able to take out infantry on roads, and that's on roads. So he needs a little bit of backup in order to deal with this infantry very effectively at all. So again, just goes to show how poor Grit's direct unit firepower is. His indirect swarms are like insane. So you could say, I get a second Piperunner here, and I'm gonna just start as I can afford them. Like I'm basically trying to do as much as I can to afford 2 artillery plus like a battlecopter, plus a Piperunner every turn. And like I don't have the income for that, so on turns in which I don't have quite enough money for that, I'm just gonna be repairing with this guy with this base, because may as well, right? Moves in here and takes out a couple more of my units. Falls back with his bomber to preserve the unit count. And he's moved in such a way that he's guarding his fighter very effectively. But like, honestly, I don't even really care about the fighter. Because of what I'm going to do here. So I just go ahead and take out his infantry like so. Take out the battlecopter with the Piperunner, because you can do that. They can fire on air units as well. And then I start up a second little artillery block over here. So he's going to need to push into that a little bit, hypothetically. Take out that unit like so. And then I have this artillery here lined up so that if he goes for the attack onto my anti-air with a tank, he's basically going to not be able to do that much against it, because he's baseline Grit firepower tanks aren't that scary. And it'll basically die because I've got so much firepower here backing up the anti-air. And the only thing that he has direct-wise really in this area is that tank. I take out this battlecopter with all my units. Honestly, in hindsight, I'm not sure this was the best move, because I'm basically throwing away these 2 units for free. And I'm moving with this guy a little bit as well. As you can see here, I'm basically lining up for a good power next turn. Oh yeah, I charge in against this missiles with the battlecopter here. Basically, I'm sort of forcing him to... Like, I moved in a little bit too aggressively with this guy, maybe, because I forgot he had his power charged up. Because Grit's power, it just charges up really quickly. So I kind of forgot about that. But I'm also sort of beating out his power here as well. So. Oh, and I fall back with the fighter a little bit. I'm basically going to try and pivot it over here to deal with any battlecopters that he's sending up north this way. Basically to protect my rockets here. And then I go for the bomber as well. Because I didn't really have the money to afford this plus the battlecopter plus the artillery. so I just went for the bomber instead. Yeah, he takes out those 2 units and gets a decent shot off there, I guess. He pops his power, which allows him to take out my battlecopter like that, and my other one like that, which was annoying. But at the end of the day, it's not like the worst thing ever, because now he's completely out of meter, and I have plenty to work with here. So he moves in with the battlecopter here, trying to push out my rockets, but I have the units in this area to guard it, so it's not that big of a deal. And he's spreading the cap on this property as well. Here. So I pop my power, because I mean, I'm at full meter anyway, so I better do either pop my power or my super, and I opt for the power. If I had popped my super, I'd be able to potentially take out this guy. Let's see the ranges on this. Yeah, it would have been like a roll. But instead I opted for this move, in which I just take out the missiles. And now I'm able to move in basically carte blanche with my air units into this area. He does have this guy moving in, but he's going to be cut off a little bit out here, so I can sort of like zone him out of this area a little bit. He's got 2 rockets in this area as well, which is very annoying, but like I have enough of this area down on block that it's not like that big of a deal. And then I use like these units are able to take out an infantry, a tank, basically take out this guy as well. I try for the luck roll to take out this annoying freaking Piperunner finally, but alas, I don't get it. And I move in with these 2 infantry to because he's not going to have this range with his artillery next turn, meaning that the only thing he can do is attack one of these with the rockets. So I'm basically going to guarantee myself another property in the next couple of turns. And since I'm already ahead 4 properties, like I'm basically set to win this game. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm moving with my other units here. I move my battlecopter in here to guard my bomber from his fighter. He would have been able to take out my bomber had I not moved in this manner, and I wanted to move my bomber into this area as fast as I can. It's still not even in range yet, which was very annoying. If I go for a fighter, you're to back up my other fighter, so he can't really just waltz in with his fighter and attack my fighter. There. And I believe this is where he decided to just resign in a second here. Let's see. Moves in with his infantry. He does take a shot off there and there, so he does get a decent like interrupt off here. But like I'm gonna take out this infantry, and then he resigns. Reasoning behind him resigning here is like, I think it's relatively obvious, honestly. Like, I'm like 2 turns of income ahead of him. I'm like, honestly, 5 or 6 units ahead of him in unit count. I don't think there's any way for him to scratch back this. Even if you were able to start like spamming out these guys towards this area, I've already cut off his this pipe, so we can't send him all the way around here to start threatening my production areas in this area. But I'm able to do that with my Piperunners still. And I'm going to be able to keep on ferrying these guys down this way, and I'm going to be eventually going to be able to overwhelm him with the Piperunners here. Like, honestly, I think going for blowing up this pipe seam specifically is what won me the match here. That and positioning my artillery. Well, artillery spam as good is kind of what you want to do. But yeah, not knowing there were pipe seams on this map. I mean, pipe runners on this map for like the first 5 or 6 turns. I think that might be why I won, because I wasn't focusing on the pipe runners early on when I wasn't able to afford them. And I focused on just opening this pipe seam up. Like, I basically played this like I would play a normal high funds map and ignored the gimmick. And then when I noticed the gimmick, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll use the gimmick. And I used the gimmick, and I ended up winning. So this is a very interesting map and match. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Next map is going to be round 2. Next time for this is gonna be round 2. It's gonna be this map Overflow. The gimmick on this map is it has 5 bases on each side. And that's basically it. That's the entire gimmick. It's got the comm tower for it's got the basically guaranteed comm tower for the extra 10% firepower and the far back airport as well. So this is a very interesting map. And by interesting, I mean schizophrenic. I believe the COs on this map are basically all tier 4 plus grid. And yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not exactly sure who I want to play on this map yet. So it might be a little bit before I even pick a CO for it. But yeah, I guess stay tuned in for this next match. I'm not sure if I'm going to win or not. Because, like, honestly, Sammy is legal on this map. So whether or not I pick Sammy, I'm pretty sure my opponent is going to. And that's just going to be annoying to deal with. The thing about Sammy is, like, she doesn't get any extra defense, so it becomes, if it's a Sammy mirror match, it becomes a matter of who strikes first with the infantry. And if it's not a Sammy mirror match, it's going to be, you're basically throwing away that capture game advantage for something else, be it like just his vehicle firepower or Grit's zoning and being able to just eventually swarm out artillery and stuff and zone out the map eventually. So yeah, that'll be an interesting match, whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I like the gimmick for this map. It's just extra bases, and that's the gimmick. But it'll be interesting for sure. So stay tuned in for that. I guess like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. And I will put out this next video when that match is over. So see you guys next time. Bye.